Hey all, Chris Mystery Cleaning. Cleaning was the file coast. Time for video 2 of gathering commercial window cleaning customers. I wanted to put up this video as a response to a question from one of my subscribers who asked, how do we gather window cleaning customers for businesses, commercial work, etc. So in part 1 we covered being visible and, sort of doing the online presence, website and all this sort of stuff, the pros and cons and all this sort of stuff of that. And in part 2 I wanted to talk about networking. Okay, so networking for me is another good way of getting your name around with other business owners. Okay, so my experience of a business network started as a result of carrying out some of the tips of the trade that I mentioned in part 1, being visible, having signed written van, branding, etc., good reputation, all this sort of stuff. Okay, and I was contacted out of the blue by an owner of a business network who wanted me to join their network. Obviously, I had to pay for this, obviously, so it was not free. And what happens is that I was invited along. For the first 3 visits were free, okay? And they laid a breakfast on at a golf club on a Wednesday morning, and I went along and I met a lot of other business owners in the room, and each business would have a bit of a coffee with each other and a bit of a chat beforehand, get to know each other and all this sort of stuff on a bit of a social level as well. It's not all business, it is a bit social as well, but it's all about building that know, like, trust amongst business owners. Okay, now there are different business networks and not all of them are priced the same. So the one I went to was a local one for trades and other businesses on the Fylde coast, called Ronja, which was privately owned and all this sort of stuff by another tradesman. Okay, and he brought in his friends and basically got everybody around the table to sort of try and use each other's contacts to get other people in the room work. It's the power of the team, effectively. And there are other business networks like BNI and all this sort of stuff, and again, they're a bit more expensive, but again, it depends on what it is you're after. Networking is not for everybody, I'll be honest with you. If you're the shy sort of type of person that doesn't really like standing up and talking, you may need to be fair, you may need to work on your confidence and all that sort of stuff. And again, there's no slight on anybody. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can stand up in front of a room full of what is at first strangers and tell people what you do. I'm a bit of a gobby lad. I'm quite happy to stand up in front of other people and talk. It's getting me to shut up is the trick. But joking aside, you go into the network, you have a conversation with everybody, have a bit of a coffee and all that sort of stuff beforehand, and then the meeting would start. And the meeting would start by everybody getting effectively 60 seconds to tell people about their businesses and what they wanted from that meeting. Okay, so an example of that would be, I would stand up and say, hi, my name's Chris, I run Estuary Cleaning. We are a commercial and domestic window cleaning company based on the Fylde coast, and we are looking for people with disposable income. We are looking for businesses that wish to have their windows cleaned. We are looking for people who ultimately, we're looking for people, residential houses that want the windows cleaning. We want businesses. We want, pubs, clubs, cafes, restaurants, bars, hotels, you name it. If it's a business and has windows and they're in need of a bit of TLC, tell them to get in touch with us. But that's all you need to do. Sit down and the next person goes along. Now, while you're giving your spiel and talking about what it is you want out of this network, everybody else is sort of, got their little piece of paper in front of them and a pencil, and they're writing down, okay, who he is, what does he do, what does he want, okay? And then what would happen is they would take that piece of paper away, and then, having got to know me a bit better, and for me to get to know them a bit better, they would go out into their place of work and carry on doing what they do. Now, one of the contacts that I met there is the guy that does my health and safety, Mark Prince, who is outstanding for doing health and safety. And as I got to know him a bit more, and I got to sort of thinking, well, actually, if I, long term want to bring people into my business, then health and safety is paramount, to be fair. And I want someone that knows his onions on side to sort of give me the whys and wherefores and talk me through it. And so he got me on as a customer and all that sort of stuff. But in addition to that, he not only does health and safety for me, he does health and safety for other businesses. Well, if you want window cleaning customers in businesses, and you have a guy that also works in other businesses that you've no access to immediately, they don't know you from Adam, but they know Mark. So if Mark goes in on one of his visits and says to this business owner, "Oh, how are you doing?" and all that sort of stuff, and blah blah. Oh, your windows are looking, sort of, or argument for argument's sake, the subject goes to, "Well, actually, are you looking for a window cleaner or something like that? I've got a friend of mine who's a really, really good lad. He'll take care of that for you. Would you like me to give you his number?" Yes, no, indifferent, whatever. But if that process, he's effectively marketing my business in the course of his duties. And guess what? I'm doing exactly the same for him. So as I'm going talking to all my business owner friends that are not in that room, and they're talking about, you talk about what's going on with business, how's things, and all this sort of stuff, and you get onto the subject of sort of, well, actually, do you need a health and safety guy, by the way? Because I've got a guy he does my health and safety. He's really, really good and all this sort of stuff, and it gives them added credibility, because the person you're talking to is the third party. He doesn't know Mark from Adam, but he knows me and he trusts me and he likes me. So if I'm okay, if I'm okay a guy and I'm referring another guy in, then presumably, this guy's, he's a good egg as well, so I'll give him a chance. So it's all about sort of generating business for other people. And in turn, they then do the same for you. It's all a bit of karma almost. As hard as you work for other people, they will work for you. And it is good, but it's not free. So it was £395 for the year, one-off fee. And then it was £35 a month. And as part of that, you got a breakfast, you got free coffee. And then obviously you took part in the meeting. There's a bit of networking afterwards and all this sort of stuff. And as part of this network, they would encourage you to do one-to-ones. Obviously pre-COVID, we were able to go and have coffees and have go for a beer in a bar, or go take someone to lunch or something like that. And again, doing that in your own time yielded results, to be fair. So if I could say, "Oh, well, actually, I'll meet you. Are you free Tuesday night or something like that?" And I'll go and have a conversation with this guy about business in a pub. And talk about what he's after, what I'm after, and all this sort of stuff, and how can he help me, and how can I help him, and all this sort of stuff. And it's not, people put I think it's like the Masons and all this, all cloak and dagger. It's not. It's just basically about business owners trying to help other business owners out. And I do strongly recommend it if you're of that character. Try it out. Honestly, some of these meetings, like, obviously, once COVID's out the way and all that sort of jazz, we'll be able to sort of go out and do these meetings again. But I would encourage anybody that's new to being self-employed, to sort of get amongst it and get to know the people that run businesses, because guess what? They know your struggles. They know about how do you do a self-assessment? Oh, what is going on? You're talking about, about their businesses. They're talking, you're talking about your business. They're talking about theirs. Friendships build, over this sort of stuff. And there are some lifelong friends I've got from networking. Now, admittedly, I do not network through a company, a formal business network anymore just yet. I left Ronja because, no disrespect to the guys in the room, it was not really yielding what I wanted. In the end, my business moved on and I wanted jobs further afield. And perhaps people in the room didn't have those connections in the room that I was after, but I still maintain friendships with the vast majority of them in the room. So it's all about sort of getting your name out there, and helping other business owners, and in turn they help you, and that's what it's all about. Because you can have a conversation with Joe Blogs on the street about running a business, but ultimately, if he doesn't run a business, he's really not got much input to the conversation. He's like, "Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm an employee, so you know, and the thing is, it's like I say, it's not about sort of, oh well, I don't hang around with those that don't run businesses. Oh, it's not about that. It's about ultimately other people understanding your struggle and you understanding their struggle, and you know, helping each other through as best you can. So that concludes, I think, part two. I think I've gone over a little bit what I wanted to do there. I only wanted a 10-minute video there, so um, please like, share, and subscribe if you've watched all the way to the end. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I shall see you in the very next video. All the very best.